Welcome to Coffee at XO. My name's David McLennan. I'm the owner of XO Espresso Bar. This video series, we're going to be interviewing entrepreneurs here in Miami. We're going to be asking all the questions, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So if you have any comments, feel free to leave it down below or swing by and come and have a coffee. We also do tea. Let's get stuck in. Welcome here to the first episode of Coffee at XO. We're here at the Lincoln Eatery, food hall here in Miami Beach. And our first guest is one of our fellow vendors here from Necessary Purveyor, Tyler Dabestani. Welcome, mate, to the first
brother.
episode.
Thanks for having me.
You must feel pretty privileged to be the
sheer
first.
honor to be the first guest here.
So, mate. Look, before we ever start any questions here at Coffee at XO, we have to get a coffee. So, what do you want, mate?
Single origin Honduran.
Single origin Honduran. I'm going to have a single macchiato. Mira, let's get that started.
Great.
All right, mate. So let's get stuck into some questions.
Let's get stuck in.
Tell us a little bit about your concept, your background, what brought you here today to the Lincoln Eatery.
Right. A little bit about my background, Dave. I spent a lot of time studying hospitality in Switzerland, relocated to Miami, jumped into the Delano for about 3.5 years operationally, moved to Fontainebleau, larger property operationally with Hakkasan Group, big nightlife group, London-based. And then I started conducting pop-ups of my concept, Necessary Purveyor at the time, in Atlanta, Charlotte. Things went very well. So now I've been here. The concept's a Southern-inspired brand. I mess around with like a lot of cool local when it's reasonable for me, smaller scale products, really dope regional stuff. So I bring some unique things, man, from the Carolinas throughout the southeastern seaboard down into Florida, incorporate that throughout my menu.
You definitely do, mate. We'll talk a little bit about the products later on. Something I want to talk about now is the food scene in Miami. Like, I first came here in 2004. I was in and out. I've seen the coffee scene from my perspective, obviously being in coffee. It's starting to blossom. It's fantastic. I think the food scene as well is really, there's competition, lots of small businesses. We're starting to see some really great concepts. Do you think the same?
Definitely, I agree 100%. You know, I've been in Miami for going on 8 years now. The food scene is very cultural. It's very diverse. There's a lot moving at the moment with the food scene. You see kind of trends, paces in hospitality and the environment are always evolving. And you'll find that in different segments of the city, whether it be Brickell, South Beach, whether it be Aventura, which is trickling. The design district has came up and alive. Little River is blowing up. People are moving to kind of Alapata now, which is very unique and cool. So just being able to stay up to pace kind of with the concepts and with the demands and needs, wants of kind of the greedy, hungry little bastards we may find in Miami.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's exciting. Now, we're in a food hall, right? So tell us a little bit about, like, we've got a mango festival on today, bringing 500 people here. So you and me, like, if we had a small business, we had our own store, we wouldn't be able to, have the funds to kind of do that sort of thing. So there's lots of benefits, right? Being in a food hall, low overheads, etc. Tell me a little bit about some of the benefits that you've noticed about being in the food hall, some of the challenges, and just your experiences in general.
Well, firstly, I'll kick off. Being inside of the eatery like this, it's great to be in a community. Obviously, it's costly in its own way, in a good way, that is. But being in a community like this, you've got 13 different vendors inside of here, multiple different opportunities to eat. I think it's reasonable for small business owners like ourselves to kind of kick off like this. For me, it's my first outpost. So I think it's great being solo on my own in an environment like this. I think there's a lot of benefits for exposure, a lot of benefits to kind of attract and retain guests in its own unique way, kind of like the big old mango festival we got going on. So there's definitely a lot of pros that I would see so far inside the eatery. Yeah,
sure. So any advice to, obviously there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there. Hopefully some of them are watching this as well, and they're trying to get some little tidbits. Would you recommend that to other entrepreneurs?
Definitely. As I mentioned, low overheads at the beginning is good, rather than jumping into a big old standalone property. Definitely recommended. Obviously, once maybe we trickle down into the challenges, we can go over some stuff like that. But definitely, there's a lot of pros and cons to it.
I think, like, for me personally too, one of the big benefits as a business, it gives you a chance with the low overheads to kind of work out how to do it, right? Like what works, what doesn't, without having all these big overheads coming in and then freaking out and not being able to satisfy the needs.
The most challenging aspect for me, Dave, to be honest, is dealing with the income of food. I've got a small space. You know, when I revolve through a lot of food, like kind of like the way that I do, it's a little challenging. I got to continually be on the move to getting more food. You know, I've got about 150 square feet.
Yeah.
And I kind of pump iron through it, which is great.
You do a great job, mate.
But kind of running through food is a challenging part. I got to keep moving and flushing in and out, in and out, in and out.
So let's talk about the food. You know, the Avo pizza is kind of legendary. Right. You see it all over Instagram. People love it. I love it. Right. Tell me a little bit about, like, what made you come up with the concept, right? And kind of tell us a little bit about it, like what's on the Avo pizza. Right.
Well, I grew up in the Carolinas. You know, I grew up in kind of a bigger agricultural background. My mother is a big equestrian. I spent a lot of time in the South, in the Carolinas, around a lot of foliage, a lot of soil, a lot of land. So I had a passion for kind of clean, farm-oriented food. And I like to be inventive with my cuisine. Decided to kind of fuck around with a really cool dish that I made, which was the avocado pizza. It's vegan, it's vegetarian, it's flavorful, it's colorful. It's a pretty killer dish. So a lot of passion came from just seeing a lot of rotational crops and clean food.
Have you got any new stuff on the way that we can?
There's some stuff I can't tell you about, but it'll be out there.
I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, it'll be out there.
Excellent, mate. So now let's get into something probably a little more personal, but I think really important for entrepreneurs out there.
Right.
And that is, when you start a business, you have to balance work, personal life.
Right.
And it's hard, right? I mean, everyone has their own formula. What are some of the things that you do to try and balance out maintaining your relationship with your dog, for example?
Right. So I got a big dog. For those of you who don't know, my dog's my life. Dave's, you got your wife, I got my dog. Absolutely. It's kind of how it works out. We're just different steps in our life at the moment, which, but I mean, I wake up in the morning, I stretch every day. That's kind of the first go-to for me, being able to kind of loosen up my body, get ready to take on the day, seize the day as it comes. Balancing out kind of my personal life with the work life is always challenging in hospitality. You know, I spend time in bigger properties where I was breaking my back 14, 15 hours a day, revolving around that property constantly. So implementing a lot of balance into my life now, I like to look at in a good way. Taking the time to cherish the ones that I love, spend time with family, definitely spend a ton of time with my dog is very important. I got to run the guy about 2 to 3 miles a day, so that's vital. But I do find a lot of challenges with that, you know, and especially being in such a bigger community that we are now here in Miami Beach, especially with the location of the eatery and kind of what we got going on inside of the property. It's a little time consuming to kind of get away, you know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question, because this is something I find personally really hard.
Right.
Do you ever switch off? Like, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, not really, man.
No, I know.
It's pretty hard.
There's no easy answer.
Yeah, whether I be out at another restaurant or whether I be, you know, dining around the city or in different properties or hotels or going on vacation, it's always kind of hospitality electrocution in my head in that manner, you know. Yeah, it's always kind of service.
And it's kind of one of those things, right? You have to keep pushing, you know. It's like people say, well, you need to switch off, which, you know, hopefully I would think eventually you do have to have that, incorporate that into your balance.
Right.
But when you first start, there is this element of, like, you have to keep pushing as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think if you, especially in such a competitive market, if you ease back or whatever, someone just sort of goes by you, right? So it's like you really do have to keep pushing.
Definitely. Especially in the community that we are. You know, we touched on that earlier in the interview, I think, which was you know, tapped into the market a little bit and the kind of the segment of the city. I mean, it's a shark eat shark world here. You know, I think the thing that we both apply in our own manner with our concepts is continue to be inventive. You know, continue to find that passion that we have inside of ourselves and wow our guests. You know,
I think having the hospitality backgrounds helps a lot with that.
Big time.
I mean, it's a grinder's game.
Big time.
And it definitely helps. All right, so that's good, mate. Now let's get into another question.
Right.
Which I can't remember. It is early. It is early in the morning, right? Like, I mean, we're doing this early, right?
It is.
So,
got me out of bed before.
Help me out. What's the next question?
Mate?
You know what the next question is, do you?
I think I want to ask you a question, Dave.
Oh, okay.
I want to ask you a question. So tell us a little bit about some of the products that you're using at XO.
Okay.
You know, you use a bunch of really cool shit like me. So
we're always trying to do new things as well, like yourself. We use single origin coffee at the moment. We will come up with some blends in the future, but everything at the moment is just single origin.
Right.
We really focus on using good quality products.
Nice.
And good training for our staff. And we really do a big focus on service.
Right.
Obviously, you know my background in the hospitality industry.
Right.
Huge emphasis on service.
You got a nice little following in the city right now too.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
We got the Brickell location as well.
Nice.
But service for us is huge. Complementing that with good product and obviously all the aesthetics of our business. We're trying to create a very sort of chic look. So all that sort of comes together for us. We don't always get it right. We're always trying new things, but we're very excited about what we've got coming. Right. We will have a big announcement in a couple of weeks, which we'll be able to talk about on the show.
Tickle my toes.
Maybe we'll do it in the next episode, I think. Let's see. But we've got something pretty big coming. But great having you here, mate. I think we're going to wrap into some quick fire questions in a minute. So I'm going to ask you some questions. And let's see how you go. We're back. We're going to be doing our first XO Shots, which is going to be like some quick questions. But before we do it, what is with this hat, man? Tell me.
The hat is sustainable. It's eco-friendly.
It is.
It's actually from a really cool spot called Gorin Bros. They got a shop on Lincoln. I got a couple really dope hats in Denver from them. I like Meyer the Hatter's a cool hat shop in New Orleans that I like. This one's kind of on its last leg. It needs a little polish, a little tune-up.
It's got character.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Fits in with the brand.
All right, enough about the hat. Let's go. Quick shots.
All right, quick shots.
Here we go. Avo Smash or Avo Pizza?
Avo Pizza.
Panthers or Dolphins?
Panthers, bro. Come on.
Food hall or food court?
Food hall.
Wow, what a surprise. Huh? Burgers or pizza?
Pizza.
Mangoes or bananas?
Mango.
That's a good answer with all these mango people around today. Very good answer. Duke's Mayo or Hellman's?
Duke's.
Godfather or Star Wars?
Godfather.
Sobe or Brickell?
Sobe.
Matcha or turmeric?
Matcha.
Espresso or colada?
Espresso.
Lincoln Road or Ocean Drive?
Lincoln.
Morning bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Shaven or unshaven?
Shave.
Who's doing these? I didn't do these, by the way. All right. Sushi or ramen?
Sushi.
This is probably the most important question, so do not mess this up, mate.
Right.
Starbucks or XO?
XO, man.
Good answer.
XO.
All right, mate. Been a pleasure. Good luck with everything. We're going to revisit it soon.
Thanks for having me.
Take care, mate.